Hello, I started to share my screen. I think you can see it. Yes, okay. So yes, I'm originally from Russia and I live in Lithuania. My family lives in Lithuania for 8 years now, and I'm a graduate student of educational technology in Tartu. I'd like just to show some pictures about what we discussed, because many aspects are linked in my presentation to what Marka or Margus said before. So I'd like to talk about what is parental engagement, what is educational technology, and how do they connect, and what is my experience in connecting them. This is 1984. My greetings to George Orwell. This is me. I was 7 years old, and this is my first day at school. And I'm surrounded with all grandparent team. This is my brother feeling jealous, my granddad, and my grandma. And I think at that time, parental engagement was in Soviet country was pretty minimum. So you just give us your kid and we will make him a decent member of our society. But now the role of parental engagement is much more significant. And if we are talking about helicopter parents, I am not sure if I am one. And I don't like this concept of watching every step of your kid. But I think the role of parents is become much more significant. And the last research shows that parents play a critical role in providing learning opportunities. And I will skip some kiting. And I will stay here. I'll just say that's a second. The Global Family Research Project that grew up from Harvard, I think Harvard Family Research Project from Harvard University of Education, something like this. So they created the concept of ecology of learning, and they defined 4 pillars of ecology of learning: family, community, school, and policy, as Margus said, and they all should work in collaboration. And the family role is quite significant here. They consider it like as 60–80% of family influence ecology of learning. And the rest 3 is taking from 40 to 20% only. So the role of the family, of the parents, is really significant. My daughter started her homeschooling when she finished her 5th grade, because I had a feeling that she I was not able to find the right school for her in our area. One example, this is her way of taking notes. This is French Revolution. She paints a lot. And talking about emotions, as Margus said, this is kind of the way of her self-regulation learning. She likes to paint, she enjoys it, and this is French Revolution, I think this is the Bastille, and people want to ruin it. And this is something about Declaration of Human and Citizen Rights, August 26, 1789. So this is how she takes notes. And at school, this kind of taking notes was not highly appreciated. She and I were asked to make something to make her write things, write definitions as normal people do. This is one of the examples why the state school was not right for her. My engagement in the schooling process depends a lot on my kids' age. My son is 19 and I'm pretty not engaged in it. And my daughter is 15. It's her 8th grade. And I do format framework schedule for her. I help her to track deadlines. I help her to find connections between school subjects. Sometimes this is a tricky one because literature does not connect to history, history does not connect to geography, etc. But I try to find these connections and show them to her. And what I do additionally, I search for suitable digital tools and teach her efficient learning skills. So our homeschooling is not really homeschooling. It's definitely not unschooling. De jure is distant learning. My daughter follows the formal state school program. She takes tests and exams regularly, and now she's been officially transited from 8th to 9th grade. And by the way, when they take tests, we use 2 cameras, one front camera and one side camera. So the school kind of controlling what the person, what the student is doing on the screen. And what is, just the last 2 sentences, what is the educational technology for me? I think the term has 3 dimensions. It's implementation of educational theories. It's digital tools like various internet resources and gadget applications and VR, etc. And also it's practical skills for learning, like mnemonic rules. And just one example on digital tools. I don't know. Oh, I doesn't. Okay. The example of educational technology, but not digital educational technology. My daughter, as I said, likes to draw, and this is her memory cards. We tried to use Quizlet for this, like digital tool, but it didn't work. So we use this normal paper memory cards. This is mathematics. I think it's hypotenuse, mathematic card. This is chemistry. This is again triangle equality, geography, history, and this I think is Archimedes law. So my findings during my daughter's distant learning is that the use of digital tools must be justified. Educational technologies allow to individualize education more easily. Compared to my time, the school has changed, but not revolutionary. But I am sure it needs to be changed more. And the communication between school, family, authorities should be more smooth. School is still far from perfection, and parental engagement can help smooth corners and assist the schooling process to be more progressive, as happened with my daughter. In turbulent times such as pandemic, parental engagement and support is critical not only for students but also for teachers. And when a parent is engaged in schooling, he learns a lot as well. And I am sure parents need to be engaged as a full member of educational process, and also parents need to be educated. And just to add the last thing, during pandemic time, me and my daughter didn't feel much difference in our learning process because we were on distant learning for the 3rd year already. And suddenly we became experts. Parents were calling and asking me, and Dasha's ex-peers were asking her, which tool should I use for this? Or how do you learn that? And she was advising them on some theories and subjects. So I think this is the era of digitalization and individualization of educational process. And some people learn at school, some people learn better at home. Everybody should find their ways, and educational technology is the way to find our specific ways to learn. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I do agree very much with you that you said it's age of individualization. So we are looking for that. And you notice that EdTech is not only about high tech, it's EdTech. So everything that can be educational can be used in help, like to help the students to grow. That's really amazing. Thank you for sharing. Emanuele, you have a comment.
We have Emanuele and Tatia, but Emanuele first.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you very much to all of you for these very interesting conversations. I would like to say one thing about Varvara's experience, and then a second very quick comment. If I'm not mistaken, you start homeschooling your child as you started our master's program. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So actually, this goes back to what Margus was saying about parents' responsibilities, right? Your daughter Varvara had a big. I mean, she was very fortunate because she had a mother like you, first of all, and secondly, you had, let's say, a community of people, including Margus and myself, and also your other colleagues, to support you. So this was an amazing situation, and perhaps this is also what the university sometimes can accomplish. You know, that you have, we can provide opportunities for learning for parents. In this case, in the specific form of framework of a master's course. It might not be always the case, but I think that it's an amazing successful story from what I can say, of course, because as I said, probably you would have run into troubles without the community support. I wouldn't say without the master because it would be a bit too much, but the community support. So this is one thing. The second thing is just a comment on what you said at the very end. I am the one saying that educational technology is about how to reorganize teaching and learning in the light of the tools that we have. And I think that what you showed is exactly the living proof that educational technology is not just about using the latest gadgets. It's something that can, in some cases, like in your case, promote. It can really promote variety, the variety of ways in which we can teach and learn, because there's no one way to do things. There are many ways, especially when there is motivation and all other nice things. So thank you very much. But you know already what I think about your case. But I wanted just to stress these two elements. One is, as I said, the tools, we should consider tools in general and in relation to what we can actually do in learning and teaching. And then the first thing is that you were an example in which, yes, higher education really worked and supported, not just as a master program, but as a community of people, a community of learners, in other words.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yeah, I was scared to take my daughter to homeschooling, so it was one of the main reasons why I enrolled into the master's program of education technology in Tartu. So yes, you are right.
Perhaps, yes, we need programs for parents. They don't have to take a master's degree in educational technology. But they can have programs like the summer school or something.
Yeah, exactly.
In which they learn more. They get tips and tricks of what is going on. And that will take me to, before going to Tatia, to a comment from Japan. from Mr. Makuto. I hope I spelled your name correctly, related to that Japan let the students go back to school to be in the safe side because neither parents or teachers were prepared for this. So would you like to open your mic and share something with us?
Okay, my name is Makoto Sugara, and I've been working for Estonian government as an enterprise Estonia for the last 2 years. And then from this April, I went back to a university to obtain a PhD degree. So actually, I was thinking of going to University of Tartu for a master's degree of education technology, like her, seriously. And but because of COVID-19, I kind of gave up. So I decided to go to one university in the Tokyo area. So that is the background. And situation in Japan is that technology is here, but parents are very much afraid of the internet, and also that the tests, cheating, those kind of things are the topics. Actually, the teachers are very much afraid. So that we cannot build a social consensus. Then somehow I don't want to know. I don't know why, but even under the emergency declaration, and we are just instructed to send the kid carefully to go to school. Then at school we start using computer or tablet. So what's the reality of so-called Japanese giga school? So to change the situation in the future, that's why I decided to go back to university, and then I kind of signed up with this session. So I really appreciate your insight and then information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Satya, you raised your hand. So.
Hi, Varvara. Thank you, first of all. It was very interesting to share your experience. And your kid is quite lucky that she has you available. But I have question from parenting side, like is it sometimes too much for you to be involved and solely responsible for your kid's studies? And I just cannot imagine if my kid is 9th grade and I have to be so involved in their studies. It's just sounds too much for me. How is it for you?
It was the first year was very difficult because she was not self-regulated at all. She didn't want to learn. She didn't like the process. But then the year after year, she became more and more autonomous. And all the things I listed took me now takes about, let's say, 1.5 hours a day. Because now we know what tools work, what don't. We know where to look for theory. So it's just, I wouldn't say, I enjoyed it. And some, at school I missed, for example, history lessons because of not very good history teacher. And I missed physics because it was like always like 8th lesson, and I needed to go to my training. And I kind of enjoy this school program. I rehearse it myself, and it's kind of history and physics we study together. So it's a pleasure for me now. But the first year when she was in her 6th grade, it was like, what am I going to do? And I was looking for some tutor or psychologist but now everything is smooth and right, and she knows what she's doing, and she is motivated eventually. So I'm not worried about her. I am worried, but less and less every year.
Yeah, if she's motivated, that's what you want to achieve, right?
I managed to pass this responsibility to her.
Right. Thank
Great. Oh, Steven has a comment. Okay, would
Yeah.
Would you let me to introduce you and then you consider your comment?
Okay.
Okay, so our last but not least speaker, Steven, who is a teacher himself. He has more than 10 years of experience. Now he's currently teaching in Ankara, Turkey, and he's also running an NGO, Teacherpedia, back in Nigeria to help teachers with their platforms, with the trainings, with using technology in the classroom. So you're more than welcome to share whatever you have with us.
All right, thank you so much, Anastasia. I really appreciate that. But I would have loved to first ask a question from Varvara, because currently I'm taking my children through I can call it home learning, because for like 2 years now they've not been going to school. But there is this kind of challenge we'll be having, like association. I feel like being home all the time, not going out, it's a bit, I mean, at one point or the other, I feel like it's affecting the way they associate with other children when they meet at one point or the other. Do you have that kind of challenge, or how do you handle that?
No, she was in her 6th grade, so she was how old? 13, I think. And we had a lot of out-of-school activities: dancing,
Okay.
volleyball, French lessons, something else. So she didn't miss her school peers. She met them somewhere else, and they were kind of autonomous. They can meet in the city and have some coffee and order pizza and discuss things. So she didn't miss any social activities. And I was, of course, when lockdown started, it was a little bit more difficult, but they found a way and they meet each other online and play some games. And I often listen to, haha, and go there, hit him or something like that. So they find a way to interact.